toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
17 days to the rise of Skywalker as we record this. I was just thinking, as I'm thinking about saying that, did we count down to the unmentionable movie as much as we are this one?
We did.
Yeah, I think we
did.
Yeah.
We were excited about it.
Not be a disappointment. This can't be a disappointment.
I know you guys are on blackout, lockdown, whatever you want to call yourselves. I am as well for the most part, although I did listen to a podcast where they interviewed Rian Johnson about Knives Out, so it wasn't really a spoiler.
Why would you do that?
Well, it's a podcast I listened to. He happened to be on it. The thing that I found interesting...
Are you gonna talk about the Yoda thing?
No.
Okay.
Did
you listen to the interview? Did you pick up on the Yoda mention?
I haven't heard that part of it yet.
Okay. In that interview, supposedly he references Baby Yoda. And he said he was on the set a month ago, and he saw it, and he was very, very excited. This means one of two things. He's lying, or they're shooting season 2.
They are shooting season 2.
Oh, they are shooting season 2. They're absolutely shooting.
With Baby Yoda in it.
Okay.
So what's wrong with that?
I'm saying that's kind of a spoiler. So,
well, now I wasn't going to reveal any spoilers. What I was going to tell you was that in this interview,
I'm saying he's a dick. That's all.
Okay.
I'm
just desperately trying to get out this thought that you keep interrupting me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What did this douchebag say? Go ahead.
They were talking about episode 9, but not in any detail. And he said he doesn't know anything about it. He's not seen a script.
As it should be.
He said, I'm just want to watch episode 9 like any other fan, grab a bucket of popcorn, sit down in the theater and watch it. So the thing I find interesting about that is that while JJ didn't direct episode 8, he was aware of it. He was an executive producer on it. He knew what was going on. This guy is completely cut off. They're not even showing him anything. So
then why is he allowed on the set of The Mandalorian? I mean, I'm hoping someone escorted him off. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
well, when they finally caught him, yeah, when they finally caught him, they had security escort him off the lot.
Good.
Yeah, and he started saying, "When are you going to kill this? When are you going to? When are you going to?
When are we going to milk? Is someone going to milk this?"
Well, it was interesting. They were talking about Knives Out, and he was saying that the way he constructs stories is you've always got to find the worst possible situation for each cast member or each character to have to get out of. And I'm like, boy, that sounds awfully familiar to your process for episode 8. So whatever.
Anyway. While we're doing that, let's do random. I have a random because it ties right into this. Now let me ask you this, Todd. How much on Blackout are you? Have you seen any of the new posters?
Neither the posters. Okay, I accidentally saw the international poster that has Luke's head sort of behind Kylo Ren.
That's the IMAX poster.
Okay, IMAX poster.
I was just putting.
Yep.
Okay, so you did see that.
That was the only thing I've seen.
Put that in the Dropbox. Huh?
That was the only thing I've seen. Yep.
Okay, well you did see it. So, but that's interesting. Luke's head is really prominent.
Very
in this
prominent.
Poster.
Yes.
I found that interesting. And why bury it in the IMAX poster? And
is that the U.S. IMAX poster, or is it possible that it's an international poster?
I'm pretty sure it's the IMAX, but the regular IMAX poster.
I don't know. It's odd to me. I mean, look, none of us are surprised that he's in it. It's just how prominent do you make him in the poster?
So I don't know anything about this process. Do you think they come up with like 5 or 6 posters and they say, yeah, this is going to be the A poster, and this is going to be, and we're going to offer this one to IMAX, and we're going to do this one,
I think they come up with, reading like Drew Struzan's book, they'll get a bunch of artists, I'm sure, with direction to paint a bunch of stuff, and then they'll decide which is going to be the main poster.
Right. So I'm saying this is likely one of the. This was a poster that they there's no particular reason for this poster to be any different.
I can't imagine they said for IMAX paint this.
Yeah,
But
that's
keep
what
in
I'm
mind,
saying. So
he's not
so
even
this was,
pictured in the regular poster.
That's what I found very interesting.
not
and
even
that's
in it.
what I'm saying. I'm wondering whether they looked at this and they said, well, we don't want to emphasize that as strongly. We'll use it for another purpose.
But still, everyone sees it. Maybe in the IMAX version, he just hangs out really way on the left or the right,
Yeah.
where you don't see him in the normal version.
Maybe,
Yep.
maybe that could be.
He's just like a
But
force
that's
ghost off in the side, just sitting there eating
very-
French fries or something. Every scene.
He's very prominent. He melds into Kylo Ren in
Yeah.
this thing.
When I first saw
I
that
find
picture,
that-
it took me a minute to get oriented of what I was even looking at. It's an odd.
I know. I'm just looking at it
Piece of
now
art.
because someone's like, "Is that Obi-Wan?" Because it totally
it looks
has an
very Obi-Wan. Other than the hair thing is, and it also looks like there's hair coming out from Kylo Ren's helmet.
Yeah.
It's a
I find that interesting and exciting all at the same time.
I could. Is it even possible? And I guess it is possible that he is prominent in this movie, and they've decided to keep that on the down low all this time. I mean,
Anything's possible.
Hamill's not doing any of the press either. Maybe because last time he did press, he talked about how much
but
he
you
disliked
can't
it.
have him do press if
so,
it's sort
so
of
let's
an
let's
unknown
put this in.
if he's in
Let's
it.
put this in percentages. I think there's a 70 to 80% chance that they're going to do a walk back on the Luke character in this. That they're going to find a way to make Luke a hero and prominent in the way the previous movie undercut him. I think there's a big Luke redemption core in this movie.
I hope so.
You might
but it's
say
just
a rise.
yeah.
of
I hope
Skywalker.
so. I hope so.
No, but I just
odd
think-
to me,
I
though,
think,
that they're,
like,
they're on a
I
major
think-
press tour right now, and they're not. He's not participating.
But
Yes.
you can't. They've learned enough. You can't put him out there. You totally.
Oh, you
can't.
absolutely can't. And I think that he'd totally be into the big surprise thing, and the just but
Yeah.
particularly where he was
He'll
left
be-
in after the
As soon
last
as
film.
it comes
Personally,
out, he'll be everywhere.
but I think if you come out of this and say the only way Luke could do what Luke needed to do was to become one with the Force, was to do what he did, not engage, whatever. If you find a way of working that into the story, there's potential here. And he's not just some.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. If you go back to, Yoda talking to Obi-Wan in Rise of the Revenge of the Sith is totally, I'm going to teach you how to become one with the Force. He could totally be something. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and look, if Yoda is able to come back and be basically there, I mean, he hits Luke over the head with a stick. He's not just a Force ghost. He's there. Then that means Luke should have the same capabilities in this movie.
Why else are they calling it The Rise of Skywalker? Oh my God, how could they not?
Well, we'll know in 17 days.
We'll know in 17 days.
We'll see. We shall see.
Todd's pessimistic, but I don't blame him.
So, did you tell me to go, or was that?
You can go.
Okay.
No,
Okay, so 2 quick things that neither of you will have. Doctor Who is coming back for January 1st.
That was on my
Oh,
list.
good. Excellent. I'm off that day and I need a nap.
Yeah. Barry, you had that?
I did. Because what I found interesting about it was that they've been saying that there was no Doctor Who in 2019 and that it would come back in 2020. They never said the first day of 2020.
And I will tell you, if you watch the trailer, okay, there is more action in this trailer than there was in the entire first season.
Well, what I also
don't
found really annoying in the trailer was that she says the word crisis 4 times, and after watching all these episodes of The Flash, I'm so sick of that word. I was kind of
Yeah.
like, really? Now you're using it?
Yeah.
Barry, did you watch last season?
No.
Neither
I
did I.
watched the first episode of last
I
season.
watched the first episode.
I
just
watched the
couldn't bring myself
entirety
to
of it.
watch.
I will say there were issues. I think they know what's wrong. I hope they fix it.
Look,
they
there was
getting
this
rid of
glimpse
those
of a
companions?
Cyberman in the trailer, so that already makes me
There
happy.
was a Cyberman, which is good. I think, like I said, I'm gonna watch it. It's one of those things. I'm going to do it no matter what. But I've read some
I think
things that
it's
said
cool
they,
that they
are shifting direction slightly and that they are making a course correction based on things they've learned. So
They don't have a Christmas special, do they?
no, they
No.
went last year. They did a New Year's special, and now they're doing the same thing.
It's funny because we actually are doing advertising for it, and I'm like, oh, it's I'm counting the billing when it's December billing, right? I thought it was and then they said no, it runs in January. So I didn't until today. I didn't realize that it was for the next season.
The thing that I find interesting, though, is that they were able to essentially keep a secret that they were dropping the season until 3 weeks in advance, which is
very much
unusual.
the kind of British way of doing things. It's like we know of like 3 or 4 things that BBC or otherwise are being produced in the UK, and you just don't know until like a month before when they announce it. Whereas in the US, months and months and months. So.
Yeah.
Well, and on a similar note, and I know it's not in our genre, but this was also released today, or if not today, in the last day or two. Curb Your Enthusiasm released like a trailer, not even a trailer, a teaser for their season 10, which I didn't even know that they were filming. And at the end of it, it said in January. So like they're announcing a new season of that show in
that's
December
interesting.
for next month.
Yep. So my other thing,
Don't forget Mad About You.
my other thing is there's a IDW last week published the first issue of a 3-part Picard comic, which is
I'm not saying anything.
what's that?
Not saying anything.
Okay,
Comics are good.
Called Picard Countdown, that basically tells the story that they could not tell because of the split between Paramount and CBS. So we're actually seeing what happened on Romulus prior to Spock trying to prevent the supernova and ending up being spun off into the other universe. So this is the story of Picard, Admiral Picard, now no longer on the Enterprise. It's a decade and a half after, or about a decade after the last really bad Next Generation movie, and it's tied up in those events. He'll then be dealing with this 15, 20 years down the road when the show comes on. So it's
So where does All Good Things fit into the continuity of Picard? Because that was a much older Picard, right?
but that was a timeline that was averted.
Right. So none of that counted. Okay.
Right. So I think the only consistent thing from that is Riker's an admiral. So Riker goes on to being an admiral, but I think that's the only thing that was kept. So, but yeah, no, I read the first issue. I'll get the other 2. It's interesting, and I was wondering whether that backstory thing was going to be part of the whole thing, but it looks like Kristen Bauer, who is one of the Discovery people and is big in this, wrote it, and so I think they're just putting this out there and getting it established. So
this ties together the next gen continuity with the JJ verse.
this is basically the bridge in between the Star Trek Nemesis and then the opening sequence for the JJ launch into JJ universe with Spock, and then
I'll read that.
going down. Yeah. So it's
that sounds like it's worth
yeah. Like
reading.
I said, it's interesting, and it's kind of setting the stage, and I will say that one of the things that I found curious was they say someone else is captain of the Enterprise, but they don't say who it is. So I found it interesting, and they do mention that Riker and Troy are on the Titan, which is where he went to, and presumably retired from. But yeah. So anyways, interesting, and I'm getting, despite all the other Star Wars stuff, I'm still really excited for that in January. So
Cool.
Okay. What do you got, Barry?
All right, so I put pictures of this in the Dropbox. I don't count this as something that is on blackout for you guys since it was in the D23 trailer that we all saw, but EFX Collectibles is releasing a Dark Side Ray lightsaber replica from that quick shot of her with the red bladed lightsaber. Here's the thing. EFX Collectibles, while they make
ever.
really cool stuff, they don't ever release anything. Like there are people that have been waiting for Scout Trooper helmets for 4 years. Like literally 4 years. I saw a guy posted in response to this on Facebook today that they sent him a Darth Vader helmet as an apology for how long he's waiting for his Biker Scout helmet. So, but anyway, the specs on this are there's limited to 750 pieces. It's $1,600 plus shipping and tax.
Please.
It's a $500 non-refundable deposit. It's solid aluminum. It has a functioning hinge like the prop in the movie. It has a hardwood base that you can either display it open as one big long saber or folded. But $1,600 with a $500 non-refundable deposit from a company that has been known to take years and years and years to deliver their product.
Yeah,
and this is most likely from a scene.
Why are they showing this now and not on the 20th? They're doing it because on the 20th we're going to all know that this is like a dream sequence or something like this, and it's completely
inconsequential to the overall story. Yeah. Like crazy that they're even making this thing. I can't imagine that there's a major plot point where she's a Sith. So anyway, I found it interesting, and I found it to be a super easy pass. Obviously, I'm not going to buy one, but it also just goes to show you in the years since Master Replica was really churning stuff out, their lightsabers, even their top of the line signature edition lightsabers, were like between $300 and $500. This is $1,600.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of money.
It's totally crazy.
Yeah.
So,
but you can separate it, and you can, it's like two pieces go like together.
Two sabers.
You know, it all goes together.
Yeah, getting screwed by EFX Collectibles.
Yeah.
All right, the only other real quick thing I had, and I just found this interesting because it was on my local news today. Avatar 2 live action filming has wrapped for the year.
Yes,
that movie doesn't come out until December 2021.
There's a few leaked photos of like a couple of some kind of like boat thing.
Well, Cameron leaked it. I mean, Cameron put it on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he desperately wants someone to care. So,
but I just found it interesting the way it was worded. Live action filming has wrapped for this year, which just means
they're taking a break and going to start next year.
Yeah,
but again, I really do think he thinks he's going to film like 5 movies in sequence or something, and so they'll just be perpetually filming and occasionally editing something out to a film. So
learn.
That sounds crazy. I feel bad for whoever's in that. Is it still that dude, Sam Worthington, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sigourney's in it. I think there's a bunch of people in it.
Boy, she's got better stuff to do.
Totally.
Anyway, you know who doesn't have better stuff to do? I don't know what that means. Holiday shopping coming up. You know where you got to go? Fanboy Collectibles.
Wait a minute, are you implying that Troy has nothing better to do?
I think what he's implying is that they have nothing better to do than serve their customers really well.
Exactly.
And very
they got Hot Toys and Pops and Sideshow and Kotobukiyas and anything you'd want to have the difficult-to-buy person in your life, I would imagine. So check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Here's something that wait, what were we doing first? Oh, wait. We've put this off for 3 weeks, so.
Yet it's still timely and relevant, so go figure.
It's still timely. So, the Profiles in History, is that who's doing it? Right?
I believe so.
So, Profiles in History has an auction of, there's a guy named John Azarian who's got one of the foremost collections of 60s and 70s television memorabilia out there, props and costumes and stuff, and he's you can go look him up on Facebook. He's got a whole Facebook that he puts a lot of pictures up, but he's got everything. So he's auctioning off a portion of his collection, and there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Everything that, if you listen to this show, there's stuff you want, but if you can't afford it, let us know. We want to be your friend.
That's right. And even if there's stuff that we don't necessarily like covet, there's just some incredible pieces of Hollywood memorabilia and television memorabilia here.
Barry, give us an example. Yeah. What comes to mind when you say something we wouldn't normally covet, but just is amazing to you that it's in there?
Gilligan and the Skipper's
Absolutely,
cats.
that's the first one. That's the top of my. It's just how cool would it have to be to have Gilligan and the Skipper's hats? Okay,
Yeah, that was one of the
Something
first
from
things I
Bewitched.
noticed. I'm like, those are incredible that they even exist to this
Yep.
day, let alone this guy's got both of them.
yeah.
Yeah. He's got almost everything from the 60s and 70s.
To one degree or
mean-
another. Yeah. I
Yeah.
will say my heart is broken very early in the catalog when I see what Gort looks like now.
Gort is not having a good time.
Oh
at
my
all.
God.
Gort has not aged well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm scrolling through, but stuff like Genie's bottle or one of Genie's bottles, an original one.
Yep.
I have replicas, but Genie's costume. We're arranging to go smell it and before it goes up for auction, but no one's, for some reason, they're not getting back to us.
Dave, I
put
will
the
say,
sniff
when you look
request
at Major Nelson's spacesuit,
Yeah.
that's pretty seriously basic. It's
Oh
funny,
my God! Yeah.
it
There's
doesn't
no
occur
way-
to
I
you
mean,
when you're watching
he-
it, when you're watching the show,
he was-
but it's like you could make something nicer than this.
Yeah, he was really like, I guess he was an Apollo era astronaut and wore Mercury suits, was
Right.
in a Mercury capsule, which, it's pretty weak. But you can have that too.
Yep. I think the next
what other stuff?
iconic thing for me, which maybe does fall a little bit more into our genre, but it's the Get Smart shoe phone.
Shoe foam.
Yes.
I
How do you
mean,
not love the shoe foam?
Yeah.
you know, again, not something you have to really explain what it is to people, or well, maybe younger people you'd have to explain it, but
Then they don't. Doesn't matter. But that would be an awesome thing to display.
yeah,
What's the estimate on that?
12 to 15.
15,000.
yeah.
That seems low to me, but
I think it'll go.
Some
for
of
more.
these things are a little on the low side,
Yep.
but I mean, again,
I mean, to be honest, that shoe
doesn't.
doesn't look like it's in great shape, though. It looks like it's missing some pieces.
You're not going to wear it.
you're
No, I'm just saying it looks like it's
exactly.
missing
You're not
some
going to wear it,
pieces.
and it is incredibly iconic. I think that
Oh yeah,
were you to have the Genie bottle and the Gilligan and the Skipper's hats together, no child of the '60s would not recognize all those things.
oh,
You know, it's funny.
That right there is like every day after school for me.
That's
just
what I'm
watching
saying,
Those
yeah.
types of shows.
Yeah, that's
How has
syndication right
nobody
there.
made a replica of that shoe?
Oh, I'm sure they have.
I've never seen it anywhere. I mean, I figured we'd see it somewhere. We may have to do that.
That could be a project.
That wouldn't be that hard of a project, probably.
No, I mean, you're looking at it. There's a speaker. I thought he folded something out. This thing doesn't look like it looks like the mouthpiece. I always thought he folded out a mouthpiece.
No, he pulled the heel off. So
Is that it?
Yep.
Because if you look at the picture, it looks like
No, something's folded down.
there's something fold. I remember him doing that.
Yeah. Something looks folded down just above the dial.
I think that piece is missing.
Yeah. That's
But
why I said
anyway,
it looks
there's
like
that.
there's some missing stuff here, but
Yeah.
still amazing.
What else?
I mean, the Lost
I
in
mean,
Space
there's
stuff, the ship
The
model.
Lost in Space
the
pod,
ship models are
which
just
is
crazy. I mean,
yeah, the
that
pod
is
and the
so
Jupiter
cool.
too.
2.
How big is that,
that the one
Jupiter
that-
2? Does it say? It must say.
What'd you say?
I said, how big is that model of the Jupiter 2?
Oh,
I'm zooming in to see
Yeah, I
what it
don't know.
says.
I don't know what it says. I've seen pictures of it with people, though. Oh, wait a minute. There's one there. So
48 inch in diameter.
yeah, I was going to say. I was going to about 4 feet diameter. Yeah, yeah,
is it really?
yeah.
Yep.
Jeez Louise, that's massive.
And that's estimated to go between 75 and 95,000.
That seems reasonable.
That does. Yeah.
For something as iconic as that, yeah.
Captain Kirk's.
I was surprised
green
to see
shirt.
that they were predicting the pod would get the same money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think that's a little more obscure.
Oh, look who came to visit. Your dogs are always in, but you guys don't see mine very often. Oh, you can't see them now. Chewie, go back up so they can see you. No? Okay. Then don't. He's here. He never comes in. You can go now, Chewie. We're recording a podcast. Anyway. He's gone. Okay. Sorry about that.
Look, the next there's Captain Kirk shirts, the green wraparound his dress one, his Mirror Universe one, along with Spock's.
There's a lot of cool Star Trek stuff in this
A
auction.
lot of cool Star Trek. I'm looking at those ears. I'm like, those you could bid on those. I mean, even the estimate is $3,000 to $5,000. I remember, I can't remember some auction years ago that they had those ears, and I thought maybe you can get those because the estimate was not super crazy.
I bet
They
you
went
with
for-
the buyer's premium, those are about $10,000 by the time this is done.
they went for well over $5,000 when I think
Yeah.
the estimate was like $1,000, and it was like no way. So people know what the market is on
Yeah.
this.
You know what I've always loved, and I've got the Master Replica's replica of it, but the Klingon phaser. And when you look at this picture, you clearly see how it's made out of a block of wood.
Yes. Yep.
But it's such a cool design, and this thing is in remarkably good condition compared to what most of the regular Federation phasers look like how they've held up.
Yeah.
It's a
That
cool
is
piece.
cool. There's still a lot of Star Trek stuff. There's Star Trek the Motion Picture stuff. Well, here there's a Tribble from Trials and Tribulations that is going for estimated at almost about what we paid for three of ours,
Yeah.
right? I don't
That's
remember
why
what
we got
paid,
in
but
on the ground floor.
We did.
That was that was a good deal getting those triples.
We got
the way
four
did.
of them.
We got four
actually,
of them,
right?
Yeah.
We got four.
Yep.
Yeah. The one of the things that really jumped out at me was the Shakespeare bust.
That's the next thing on my list
Oh my
here.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. I mean, it's in really good shape too.
It is, and it's one of those
Some
things
damage
where
at
you
the
just-
base, but
you knew somebody had to have it. But it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So then there's definitely Batman stuff. There's Batman and full Batman and Robin costumes. Obviously, there's a lot of those, but to have someone that has like they are complete costumes, that's a big deal. Those are going for it. That's the big money.
because you see pictures and you hear about people that have partial costumes, but to have the full
Yeah.
thing like that
Yeah.
was pretty unusual.
Though the person modeling the Robin costume is wearing a yellow T-shirt, so I think that might be the only piece.
I think that's a faded shirt.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
That it faded that much more than the trunks? That's
It
crazy.
could. There may be. Yeah, I bet they're different materials. Maybe.
Huh.
I didn't read the whole thing, but possibly.
Yeah. Very, very cool though.
Yeah.
And then of course the Batgirl stuff.
Batgirl stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
There's a
just
lot of
it's
Batman stuff
amazing.
here.
There's certain things that he certainly went deep on, and Batman and Star Trek were two of them.
Batman is there's definitely a lot of Batman. Joker stuff, Riddler, Catwoman. I think he's got stuff from all three Catwomen.
Yes.
All three Catwomen
Yep.
suits.
Talk about something else that is not in our genre but is incredibly iconic. He's got Fonzie's leather jacket from Happy
One
Days.
of
one of them.
there's a number of those.
Yeah, I know one of them's in the Smithsonian, but I mean this one looks pretty. I mean, they were probably all the same, but I mean when you look at the pictures that they've got above the jacket in the catalog, you could pretty much screen match it to
Yeah.
any one of those.
There,
So it's just
there's
amazing.
a number of ABC TV executives that have that jacket that have. I mean, they
there
made
were
a point
dozens of
of.
them, I'm
I mean,
sure,
that
over the
was
years.
like the most sought after thing, and I think that like I said, there's more than a few of those out there, but that's still cool.
There's Wonder Woman stuff. Her full costume.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus her scuba diving whatever
Yeah, that one
scuba
was-
diving costume.
That one's a little weird.
Love that one. That mannequin doesn't do it justice at all.
It does not. Yep.
You know, and Dave, I know you know this movie. Yesterday we watched Sky High because it was on.
Yeah.
And she plays the principal at the superhero
Yeah,
school.
I watched it a couple months ago.
Yeah,
It's kind of awful, but
it's
got
awful.
interesting
But
people in it.
my oldest son watched that probably 100 times growing up. So it had been a long time since any of us had seen it. That was kind of cool to rewatch. And actually, there's a bunch of people in there that have
That's
gone
what-
on
yeah.
to have careers. So
Yeah, Daniel. It's Killer Frost is in there.
yeah, and Obi-Wan's girlfriend is in there.
Ewan McGregor's girlfriend, Homewrecker.
Well, you're just not
The
letting that up.
Nicholas
I'm
Hammond
letting go of that, are you?
No. The Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man
Yep,
suit.
saw
is in
that.
here?
That's interesting.
It sure is.
It's awful. That looks so homemade. It's not even funny.
Yeah, and you
But
know, you could
it's
say that
awesome.
about that entire production.
That
yeah.
web slinging device too is just awful.
Yeah.
But
I did
cool-
go
so
back
cool
and
that it
rewatch that
survived.
whole series a few years ago, and in my mind, it was better. It was not good, but it was better than it was. It was horrible. I mean, the fact that like every time he put the costume on, he immediately became like 4 inches shorter and very agile, and it was just oh God, it was ridiculous. But anyways, but here's a costume.
Now, you know, I found weird here. The Greatest American Hero, or a Greatest American Hero costume, buried amongst like Dynasty and
it's like they
or
didn't know
maybe
where else
not
to put
Dynasty,
it. I'm looking
Yep.
at that right now.
Annie and Bo Derek stuff, and it's only going for 4,000 to 6,000. How is that even possible?
It'll go for more.
I mean, that seems light on an estimate, but
Yeah.
maybe it's just us.
Yeah.
I think
There's a
that would go
Farrah
for more.
Fawcett shirt I have my eye on here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It is hideous, though. I wish it was something better.
And she signed it.
I know.
That says it's only going to be $800 to $1,200. You could totally afford that.
I don't think I'd actually... I got my eye on it. No one else bid on that.
Or the Martin Cove Sensei top from Karate
Yeah.
Kid.
See, Dave, I thought you were saving your hard-earned cash for another item. There was
Oh, I'm totally... No, that's...
there was something
I'm
else
saying
that I
one
picked
I'm
out for
thinking
you
of.
immediately, and I said, Dave is
too.
going to want
No,
this, if
the-
only for the DNA collection potential.
That is a... I'm going as high as 50,000 to get the Tom Cruise Lieutenant Pete Maverick Mitchell U.S. officer's cap.
Isn't it
Pop
funny
gun.
how we all knew that was...
We just knew that. Yep. Yep. They've got
Well, we
some of
skipped over
some of the
the,
X-Men costumes. That's kind of cool.
We skipped over the Logan's Run stuff.
Oh, did we? Yep.
Yeah, there's some cool Logan's Run stuff in there too.
Well, we were actually told not to talk about that so that we don't run the prices up, but that's okay. That's fine.
Oh, it's terrible. Nobody should buy it. I'm just noticing that
Yes.
it's there.
Why would anyone want that, really? So
It's gonna
Okay,
be
then
fun
it's
to
just
see
like-
what this stuff sells for.
Yeah. There's not a ton here. I mean, some of these times these catalogs are like 300 pages. This one's like less than 100 pages.
and it's very again very kind of focused on certain things. You also wonder with the, there's like a big jump to like the X-Men stuff. And again, he's got a
X-Men,
Daredevil costume
Austin
from
Powers.
the abysmal Daredevil movie. But there's a whole it's like the 90s are missing.
Well, here's the question:
Yeah,
Is
it
this
jumps right to movies? Yeah.
is this everything he
So-
owned and he's selling everything, or is he keeping?
No,
I think he's
this is just a
purging.
portion
I think
of
this
it.
is just a weeding of the stuff that he,
Because think
Yeah, so
about
this
that.
thing-
If this is the stuff he doesn't want anymore, what else does he have in his collection?
I think he's. I mean, let's put it. This guy is a collector. Obviously, I'm sure he's not the youngest guy in the world. He's older than us. Props and costumes are at an all-time high.
yeah.
They could go higher. At some point you got to do something with them. What are you going to do? Like us, we sit around. Our kids are going to be throwing our throwing our stuff out. I'm choking up just thinking about it.
Yeah, I can see that. It's emotional.
But this guy will make a ton of money on this stuff.
yeah, and should. I mean, this is a pretty awesome collection, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
kind
and
of
what I give him a lot of credit for was
So-
recognizing what this stuff was and preserving it, because he spent probably the last couple decades acquiring all of this and gathering it and saving
Yes.
it and storing it, where a lot of it would have been destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he got in on the ground floor of a lot of this stuff, probably.
yeah.
So
yeah. It's
this-
interesting though. There's some really obscure stuff in here though too, and that's the thing. Like the mirror universe costumes and stuff like that, where there's a number of Kirk and Spock and Scotty tunics out there. There's not many of these are probably it. So there's definitely some
Yeah.
one of a kind things.
yeah. So we'll. It's December 17th is the auction, so we'll, I'm sure, talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. After it happens, we should talk about some of these items and what they realized price wise.
Barry, what's your?
Exactly.
We know Dave's thing. What's your thing? What would be the first thing you'd go for?
It's hard on this one. If space was no object, it would probably be the Jupiter 2, just because
that's
so
kind of what I
damn
would have picked
iconic.
out for you. Just because the whole model thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I have a hard time. I mean, the Batman and Robin costume. I'm not a costumes collector guy. So, and they don't display well. They're in bad shape. So,
I know you have a replica, but I would think that the Shakespeare bust would be the thing for you, Dave.
yeah.
yep. Yeah.
What about you, Todd?
I would go with a Mirror Universe Spock tunic. I think that would be something that'd be easy to display and it would be cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, just
Really good stuff.
there. Alrighty. So,
And you guys, if anybody
go
wants to see the
check
full
out
catalog, you can download a PDF off the Profiles in History website for free. So
Yes.
check that out.
Yeah, and then shoot us a note. Let us know what you're into. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff here. Let's go. What's in the box?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Barry, I just dropped my pencil. What's in the box?
Sorry, I had to walk away for a second. I know I alluded this to you guys, and I think I sent you pictures, but I have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this, which came in a box the day we recorded last week. This is my new guitar, which, I probably could afford some of those things at auction if I hadn't bought this, but I've wanted this guitar forever. It's a Gibson ES335.
Nice.
It's a color called Blues Burst. It's a very unique color.
I really love the blue guitars. You know that.
Yes, and it's a type of wood called figured maple, so it has a really nice wood grain underneath. It's not just a painted color. It's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, so this is what's in the box. This came the day we recorded last week, so
Yeah.
Great.
I have to acclimate.
yes,
Is that the guitar Dave Grohl plays, or does he play?
this is the
something-
same
not a
model
Gibson?
Dave Grohl plays, but he's got a custom one that they made for him.
Because
So-
I see him with a blue one a lot. Too.
Yeah, his is got a different headstock and different. This is a semi-hollow guitar. He had a custom one made that has diamond-shaped inlays instead of the regular F holes that would normally be cut into the top of the body. And his headstock is a totally different shape. This is more traditional version, but Dave Grohl plays an NES 335, and you can. I don't think they sell it anymore, but at one point you could buy his model if you wanted to. But yeah, this is a different guitar than any of the other ones that I have. So
Cool.
that's what's in the box.
Cool. Nice.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay. Mine is at the absolute opposite of the price spectrum from what Barry just showed us. This was something that I wanted to get when we were at Rhode Island, but they were sold out. So I took the card from the company, and I got this. I ordered this, and it came in the mail the other day.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
So this is from a company called Stick FX, and basically they make reusable stick-on superhero masks. And I'm wearing the Night Hero mask, which
So
is
that's the
basically Nightwing.
one, right?
And it just like the characters in Arrow and stuff like that who don't have any things holding their masks on, it just sticks on there and stays there. And so
Yeah, that was a funny
You know
booth at
you're
Rhode
gonna
Island
wanna-
because every time you walk by, they're like, "Have you seen these? Have we shown you how these work?" And
they were really pushing
Todd
them, but
disappeared into their
unfortunately they had
booth.
sold out of this one immediately, and it was by far the coolest one. And like I said, this is very similar to Nightwing mask, and
That's why you asked me if I saw the last episode.
yeah. So So anyway,
Does he paint in the holes?
I could do that. I was thinking that. I was also considering getting some kind of lenses in there. So
I don't remember what he did.
he just has
in this show
I think
now,
it's
but-
paint in there. But But yeah, so if I want to go hang out with the Arrow crowd or whatever, I'm all set now. So
And you'd even fit in the Watchmen universe now because
that's
you're,
right.
you're wearing a
I
mask.
could. Good to go.
Honestly, you don't look like Batman. You look sort of like a sad squirrel.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
wait, we have the screenshot
Nope,
that.
nope.
Yeah,
We're
put
not gonna
that
do
hood
that.
back on.
So I will.
Your ears are a little floppy.
We'll,
These
we'll
were-
wearing a
post
Batman
pictures. No,
hoodie with
I've been
ears.
sick for 4 days. What do you want? So, but anyways, yeah, it's cool. They're about $25, and they've got a bunch of different sizes and styles and stuff like that. But
That is
that
cool.
is cool.
yeah, and it comes with little wipes so you can clean it and stuff. So,
And I knew you wanted one. I could tell when we were at Rhode Island that you wanted one. So
oh yeah.
I'm
So
glad you got it.
Yep. Anyways, Dave, what's in the box?
Okay, mine is tied directly into the Azarian auction because when I saw that, I always like looking at things. I'm like, can I make that? We never did make the boatswain whistle
Yes.
from.
Yep.
I still have all the
we can't-
pictures of it. It's just, believe it or not, finding those magnetic flaw detectors has gotten
Yeah,
very
I know,
difficult.
That's part of the problem. So I saw the Batgirl walkie-talkies, and I'm like, I wonder if I could find those. So here is the box they came in. These are, I don't know if you pull up page 40. These are the walkie-talkies that her.
Look at that.
Ba-
Boy,
Batgirl
that's a very
walkie-talkies are
common
based on.
60s walkie-talkie too.
It's funny because I did some research. There's these walkie-talkies come under several different company
Yep.
names, but it's the exact same model. So all I really got to do is paint them purple and gold.
Oh, that's
And
great.
make up some name tags.
That was in. They've used those in Mission
them.
Impossible. They've used those in a whole bunch of different things. So
Yeah. So
What page
I
are those
did
on,
an
Dave?
eBay- What'd you say?
What page in the catalog?
40?
40. Okay. I thought you said 60. I'm like, no, they're not on 60.
But these things literally, I mean, they came in the original box. I found them on eBay, and they came from Italy.
oh, that's
I'm
cool.
like,
Wow.
I mean, I didn't pay much for them, so it's got that very 60s.
So
Yeah.
it's purple and
How's
gold
it?
paint and then just a sign that says Batgirl on it, and that's it.
It says Batgirl walkie-talkie. You gotta love the simplicity of.
Well, I mean, they had a big bottle that said shark repellent on it.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
That's funny.
that's cool. And
What's funny-
I'm assuming that you didn't have to pay a fortune for those, probably, right?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't pay much. I think the shipping was more than the actual
Yeah.
things. And some kid, I don't know if you can see, some kid wrote his name in here. I don't think these were from Italy. I don't know if they were, like, someone had them in the U.S. and they wound up in Italy. It's just bizarre. So that's something I'll work on.
Interesting. I like that.
So-
Cool.
That's what's in the box. Okay. We got enough time. Mandalorian, episode 4. Yeah, we're going to talk about all these, so too bad.
I like that they're calling them chapters, so it's chapter 4.
Chapters makes it feel like that's why they're short.
And
Yep.
this one, I will say, was
So-
the longest one yet. So
I didn't even look at the time.
yeah,
I'm
no, this
trying
was
not
the
to
longest
do
running
that.
time.
And it felt like a fully realized story, so
Yeah.
I don't feel like we got shortchanged in any way on this one.
Other than
No,
basically they
and-
shot an 8-team episode script, but other than that,
Well, actually, they
It was like
did
the Seventh
shoot,
Samurai.
yes, I know, but I'm saying
Seventh
it also
Samurai.
happened to be the same plot of every single 8-team episode. But
Well, there were probably 14
That's
Clone
true.
Wars episodes that had that exact same story too. but-
yeah, it's true. You're exactly right. Yep.
Well, Star Wars was in part based on Akira Kurosawa works, one of which is the Seven Samurai, which the Magnificent Seven was based on, which this
Absolutely.
was
Yep.
exactly based on.
Yes.
So,
And that's, you know what?
Uh,
That's great. Okay. It worked really well. It was a perfect story to tell. They're staying very,
Well,
they're digging
at
deep
first I'm
in
like,
the Western genre.
Oh.
It's fine.
at first I'm like, oh boy, they just totally did the Magnificent Seven. Then I'm like, wait a second, Magnificent Seven based on Seven Samurai,
Yeah.
which Lucas based Star Wars on. Okay, now it's okay to do
Yeah,
that.
it came full circle
So-
for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. I find it interesting. So all these people I guess we were introduced to them at Celebration. Are they all in one episode, including the Hot Toys figure that Barry bought. I mean,
and the one from last week that I didn't buy yet.
what was last week's?
The the heavyset gunner Mandalorian guy.
Yeah, I was
that
thinking
they
about this, and I
Immediately
was
released a
thinking,
figure of.
I was thinking maybe in the end they all come back in the last episode. It's like they show up the last minute like the Mandalorians did. But, I mean, if you look at IMDb now, there's a number of people who have 2 episodes ascribed to them versus 1. So they're changing that. Carl Weathers is listed as being in more than he's been in.
He's already been in 2.
Yeah. But
I think we'll see her again. I mean, they even said
yeah.
until we cross paths again, which, was like foreshadowing.
I'm sure they will. We haven't seen Ming-Na.
We have not yet either.
I mean,
so
I wonder if when you really take a step back, I'm wondering if this is all sort of headed to something where
Season 2 is going to be...
they're picking up all these pieces. Maybe it is going to be the Seven Samurai. Maybe they are picking up all these people that, in the end, have to. You could put IG-11, you could put Gina, you throw Ming in there, whoever else we're going to see.
the big guy,
Carl Weathers,
the big armored Mandalorian guy.
Yeah. So the girl who's the armorer is, I don't want to say a known actress, but she's certainly a known.
She's been in Supernatural
sort of,
a couple times, I guess.
Yeah, she's been in a few things.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. I'm wondering if you're gonna sort of collect all these people into somewhere.
I can't imagine that they went to the trouble of creating all these characters to have each one of them show up once. They're definitely building towards something.
It's a big universe. Yeah. We're just used to there only being 8 people in this universe. I think if they're looking at a long thing with this thing, if they're looking at 3-4 seasons, cycle these people in and out, I think that wouldn't be bad.
But it is different that, they brought them up on stage at Celebration, so you're thinking this girl Gina is going to be in,
she's going to be, I thought she was like the sidekick or something.
Yeah. And even the dude, when you really come back, Nick Nolte, I mean, we saw him for 2 episodes, he's gone now.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting.
Yeah, but his character I could probably understand. He served his purpose, but I don't know, it seems to me like, she has a similar path to him. She was a rebellion shock trooper. Now she's kind of in hiding. He's on the run now. I have a feeling that there's going to be this ragtag group of people that ultimately come together to do something.
So? Yeah. The good thing is, though, he's like building this kind of, like, he knows who he can go to get his ship fixed, and he knows he knows where, if he needs someone for muscle, he knows where to go. And he's kind of building up this Rolodex of supporting characters. I don't think they all
he
have
also
to use
found
it
out
once.
in this episode that it is going to be impossible for him to hide anywhere because this asset.
He's almost like it's almost like Bruce Banner or David Banner.
Or
he is similar to that.
Kwai Chang Caine. He's going to come into
they're
town.
Never going to stop.
He's going to solve everybody's problems, and then he moves on when the sad music plays. Just like.
But they're never going to stop chasing him. I think he realizes that now. So. The pan flute plays in the background.
Yep.
But I don't know how many. What is this? 10 episodes? 8 episodes?
I wish it was 10. It's only 8.
We are halfway there.
Somebody and a lot of somebodies are coming for Yodel in a big way at the end of this.
Oh yes. Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, they knew that they were renewing this for season 2. It'll be interesting to see if we end on a cliffhanger or if it just ends and then we pick up somewhere else in season 2. I have a feeling it's going to end on a partial cliffhanger.
Yeah, probably. I hope it's not a year.
Yeah, I hope not too. I mean, the fact that they're already filming is a good sign, but yeah, I mean, it's still post-production and everything. Could be a year.
They've also got the Cassian Andor series. They've also got an Obi-Wan series. I mean,
yeah, but they're
not filming either of those. I don't know yet. That they're filming.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. I would love though if we had like a month off and then the next one started in a month. Keep them in the pipeline. But it could be 2022 before we see some of this stuff. So
you got to watch. You got to watch Mary Poppins before you're getting another series. I think only is it Falcon and Winter Soldier slated for 2020. I don't know. They did give dates on some of that stuff.
What if?
Yeah, I'd have to
So-
look it back up. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
Yep.
so what
So
else
we'll
about
see,
this episode? I mean, I love that they had that ATST there, and I love that they had the red lights on the inside of it. It just made it seem so menacing.
Yes.
Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode, by the way,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
It's interesting.
And that sequence felt very Jurassic Park and the T-Rex coming out of the woods to me. And when I saw that she directed it, I'm like, oh yeah, kind of fits. And that village was very Willow, and that was her dad. Like,
Yep.
Well, it's interesting that they did, I'm sitting there, I guess we were talking about it before we were watching it, like, what's the story with his helmet? Does he ever take it off? Because in the last thing, he said he never takes it off. And we were really like, does that mean even
Never.
when he's eating or sleeping? And they literally answered all those questions.
Yeah,
He
which
takes it
is
off when
good.
no one's around.
Which is good. Yep.
Cause
yeah,
it
and
was
I
good, 'cause,
thought it
like,
was
that's
good
stupid.
that this was more of a. I mean, there was lots of action in it, but it was also more of a character building episode where you really get to get a lot of the backstory that we've been missing so far on him. But yet you had great action sequences, and there were some really funny moments. All the stuff with Yodel in the cockpit switching the lights and him
Yeah.
telling him no, and then when he's fighting with the girl, and then they look up and there's Yodel drinking the soup. I mean, it just was like really good comedic moments in there with the action.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just bummed that we're already halfway.
We had a callback to Rebels, right? Did you miss
Remind
that?
me. I
The
might not have
Loth
missed
Cat.
it. I'm just not remembering it.
The Loth Cat.
Oh, yes, the cat. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that live action. So
Live
that was
action.
cool.
And, yeah. And supposedly they're like force sensitive. It did not seem
Oh, really?
to like Yodel. So,
Well, I saw
that's
one
interesting.
in Galaxy's Edge. They had an animatronic one, which was cool.
oh, they
This
did.
was-
Okay.
They did. Yeah, in the marketplace they had one. But so next week's episode, written and directed by Dave Filoni.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Did he? He didn't direct any of the.
He
Did he direct the
directed-
first one or no?
He directed the pilot and the finale. But this
Interesting.
one
I wonder
also.
if Favreau's going to direct
But
one.
Favreau wrote most of it. I believe I read that this one was written and directed by Filoni.
Interesting. All right, that'll be good.
So, should be good.
Yeah. So if you're not watching it, just plunk down your $60 for the year and watch it.
Yeah, they've been doing all kinds of deals. I think they had another Black Friday deal, and then they're going to keep enticing people to jump on board. So, and there's some other good stuff on there. I've been watching the Imagineering series. I think there's 4 episodes of that up now. I like it.
Yeah, I started watching that. I've only watched the first episode.
I read an
It's
article I
interesting,
mentioned
once
to you
you
guys
get-
the other day in Forbes that basically said that The Mandalorian is the one corner of the Star Wars universe that no one seems to be arguing about.
Well, what's interesting, and when you really think about the fact that Netflix has like 50 million subscribers,
Yeah.
that Mandalorian has now overtaken Stranger Things as the most streamed OTT series ever.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's only got 1 season of 4 episodes so far, compared to Stranger Things, which has had 3 seasons.
And that is according to Disney because no one else knows that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I also don't think it's the entire series thing. I think it's like an episode drops and then has the most pickup.
It
But
could be. I mean, the thing with Stranger Things, though, is that they drop all of them in one shot. So it is.
right. No, but what I'm still saying is I don't think that they're comparing the entire number of people who've seen this versus have seen 3 seasons. It's but
Probably
but
not.
yes,
But-
I would totally
But you've
believe
got
that
50 million potential viewers versus 10 million potential viewers. That's still impressive.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I said
Now-
I would bet they have a huge percentage of people who are watching it like within the first 24 hours. Which
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so, as opposed to people sort of watch Stranger Things on their own timeline a little bit.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you guys like the weekly versus the dump of episodes?
I do.
Todd?
I'd like 2 episodes a week, to be honest with you, but or something in between. But yeah, when you think that there's really nothing that follows immediately, I guess it's okay being weekly. I felt little less shortchanged this week. Yeah, it's not bothering me.
I like
but
having the week in between to process and think about it and rewatch it a couple times. I mean, I've watched every one of them a couple times, and I don't think I'd be doing that if I was able to just binge all 8 episodes in one weekend.
I think it'd be hard for people to talk about it the way we're talking about it, because if Todd watched all of them in day one and I took a different amount of time and you took they're doing something to really get the buzz out there too.
And it's become destination television every Friday versus it being one great weekend of watching all 8 hours.
Right. The other thing is
7 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is.
I don't worry about someone spoiling this. And it's like where if the entire series was dropped and there was a through narrative, that would be everywhere on the internet, like within the first 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the fact that you're not as active on social media as I am, if I don't watch these on Friday, it would be spoiled for me in some way.
No, Barry, but what I'm saying is you've got to watch on Friday. There's still every news source that I look at has articles about this that night. But what I'm saying is you're not still on episode 3 when someone's writing about
fair.
episode 8.
Right.
No,
that's fair.
Yeah.
So
check it out if you're not. We got other stuff coming. I mean, it's a weird time where December usually is where TV's winding down. So Crisis starts at the end of this week. Then The Expanse and Lost in Space season 2 both start in a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. There's too much stuff going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's good because I have ejected so much television that I was no longer watching. I've actually got time to watch all this stuff now.
We'll have some time off the holidays.
You guys are
what we missed? There's a Discovery short that came out middle of last month.
I know. I haven't even watched it yet. I've been
another short trek or something else.
A short trek. The shortest. The shortest short trek.
Completely off my radar screen that it happened. I have to go catch up on it then.
Yeah, and it's kind of a Pike centered one, and it makes me want the Spock Pike #1 series more than ever. But but it's again very, very short. It's about 7 minutes.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I gotta watch that too.
It's interesting that they keep focusing on Pike in these, I mean, I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong, but you would think if they had no intention of going back to that well, why would they be doing these short treks?
I kind of feel like
be really testing the waters.
I kind of feel like he kept asking, like, "What does this scene relate to?" And I'll just read the script, and just do it. And then they cut them into separate things. But yeah, hey, every time we get on board the Enterprise or one of the other ships, it's very promising to me that they're going to do something more with it. So
right,
yeah,
cool. Dave, did you have a chance to see Titans yet?
I did. Me or him?
Dave, because Barry's behind on it.
I just finished it.
I am still behind on it. Yeah, making my way
we can talk more about this in detail later, but my takeaway from that is I am so ready for a Nightwing show. That could fill in that niche, that little empty spot left by Daredevil. Think about that. So, they have nothing else. They got really nothing else going at the moment. So,
who has nothing else?
The DC streaming service. I'm saying
You think
they shot down Swamp Thing because it cost too much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that DC streaming service doesn't make it another 12 months. I think it's going to get folded into something else.
I think it is too. But in terms of their content, I think they could both do that and a Titan series in the course of a year.
It'd be sad. I've been enjoying this series.
Yep.
We could talk more about that after Barry's seen it.
Yep.
But check it out if you haven't checked it out. Okay. Any last thoughts, Barry? You're incredibly blurry.
Yes, you are.
Am I really?
But
yeah.
That's weird. Neither of you are, which is usually a sign that I have bad internet. So, very odd.
Okay, I'll take that as no last thoughts.
Other than that Barry's blurry, really nothing.
Exactly.
I think you've both been drinking too much.
Maybe.
Maybe it's just NyQuil.
So, not a lot of shopping days before the holidays. Get on it, everybody.
As always, you guys are my hardest people to buy for.
We are the
We are the hardest
there are
people to buy
There's
for.
no doubt.
There's really no denying that one way or another.
Yeah. Not at all. So, anyway, okay. With that, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.